Hey guys, Mac here, and welcome back to my series of videos where we take video game systems, we clean them up, repair them if need be, and sometimes we mod them. And today we're going to be taking a look at a very special handheld that is very, very dear to my heart. My parents, they ended up retiring and moving to a sunnier state. And with that, they downsized to a smaller house and they gave me this giant box full of stuff. And there were some goodies, most of it junk, but there were some goodies in there. But one of the goodies that I found in there was my actual childhood Game Boy Color. Now, I am super pumped to have this. This thing has been through the ringer. Everything is like scratched up. The screen actually looks pretty good, better than I expected it to, but I guess I left some batteries inside of this guy, and the battery acid from those batteries ended up leaking throughout a lot of these components, unfortunately. So we are going to try to repair this and clean it up just to see if it even works in the first place. If we have any issues, we'll see what parts we have to replace, but I want to check to make sure the cartridges read. I want to make sure the screen works. I want to make sure the audio works, and I want to see if that battery acid that's been sitting there for years corroded any of the parts, making this unrepairable. But it'll still be a fun journey either way. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If this is your kind of thing where somebody goes through and cleans up systems, repairs them, and sometimes mods them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time I post a video. So without further ado, let's give this guy some batteries and see if it even starts. So here is the Atomic Purple Game Boy Color from my childhood, and then the two games that were in the box, Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Yellow. I'm gonna open up the back hatch here. It looks like the springs look pretty good. The one on the bottom left there definitely has a lot of battery acid to it, and it looks like it corroded up to the front. So it looks like right above the speaker there. But I'm still gonna try just to see if this gets any power whatsoever with these brand new Energizer batteries. All right, let's give it a whirl. Nothing. Also put in a game just in case. Maybe the screen's not working or the power button's not working, but doesn't look like there's any audio or anything. There's nothing coming from this system, unfortunately. That's a shame. Well, we'll still clean it up just to see if that'll fix anything. So let's move this stuff out of the way. The stuff we're gonna need is gonna be the screwdriver set. I'll go ahead and link this in the description below. All the items will be linked. The Game Boy, of course. We're gonna need some isopropyl alcohol for the cleanup, and some Q-tips and a toothbrush. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this guy over and take out the batteries. These are brand new, so I know they work. And what we're gonna use is gonna be this tri-tip screwdriver that Nintendo likes to use. The kit that I have does include it, so go ahead and get that kit and you'll have all the screw heads that you need. We're going to take off these 4 screws on the back, and then there's 2 more hidden inside the actual battery compartment here. Let's go ahead and take those out. Perfect. Okay, so now you should be able to detach the shell. One of the screws I couldn't take out, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip this thing over so it falls out. You can see it kind of sticking out there. Oh, there it is. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of the way here. So now we have all 6 screws nice and safe somewhere. I'm going to start with the actual main board. So let's move this guy out of the way first. I'm going to take a quick look here just to see what kind of damage we're dealing with. Looks like there's a lot of corrosion definitely on the left side there. It looks like this is just flux. I might have to clean that anyway. But definitely the speaker, there should be a little net above the speaker there. So that's completely gone. So these 3 screws here we're going to remove. They actually are just regular Phillips screws. So let's go ahead and take those out of the way. One above this capacitor here. Now we can take off most of this main board. I forgot that I have to detach this ribbon up here. That's the main screen ribbon here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the handheld over and lift these little black notches on both sides, and that should let me free up the main board. Perfect. We're definitely going to start with the main board, taking one more look here on the left side. Definitely looking like a lot of corrosion going on there. Yeah, that's rough. It's actually damaging some of the white parts of the system, but circuit wise, I can't tell if it actually damaged anything. Let's flip this over here. It looks like the start and select button also have corrosion. Definitely the speaker A and B button has a little bit of it, but it looks like the top of the board is pretty clean. The top of the board on both sides look okay to me. So it looks like all this battery acid got over the buttons, start and select, over above the speaker. It's just complete battery acid. So it might be a bit of a challenge to clean this up. So let's remove these membranes. It's your choice whether you want to clean this up at this point, or the plastic I should say, with warm and soapy water, or if you want to use the isopropyl alcohol and toothbrush method. Or you can do both depending how dirty it is. So it looks like the ribbon's okay, no corrosion there. Let's move all this stuff out of the way so we can continue the cleanup. Oh, I am going to take out this metal shield because I am going to clean this up as well. This is the bottom part of the shell. Should be 4 screws holding this metal shielding. And the reason why I wanted to remove this was looking at some of the stickers. It looks like a lot of gunk got stuck, kind of like on the sides of it. I'll show you guys here in just a second. But yeah, there's a lot of gunk there. So we're definitely going to work on that. So with the main board here, I'm going to take a toothbrush and some isopropyl alcohol, and we're going to gently brush all of this gunk, which I assume to be flux, out of the way. Our main focus, however, is definitely going to be this left side here, where all the battery acid is located. And it looks like the battery acid ate away at the solder for this connection on this capacitor. So thankfully, I don't think the capacitor is the one leaking. I'm pretty sure it's the battery at this point. So we're going to definitely focus most of my attention on this here for sure. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and do a quick cleanup on the top. Again, it was pretty clean, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'm definitely going to focus on the bottom part where all the battery acid started corroding everything. So I'm going to take a Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol and clean the select button and start button and the A and B button. This is where I found most of the corrosion. Now I'm going to focus on the plastic here as well. The bottom side was not too bad, but this other side, the front side, definitely had a lot of that battery acid located there. So I'm definitely going to take my time on this. I know that this video is sped up, but make sure you take your time. You can't actually, except for this part that I was holding there, do not dip that into any water whatsoever. But all these membranes and plastic pieces like the buttons, you can definitely dip in some warm soapy water and clean it up from there. Just make sure it's dried up before you put it back into the system. Otherwise, if it's clean, you can just use isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. But I'll tell you right now, I did use soapy water because I wasn't satisfied with the cleanup. We're going to start with the back shell for the reassembly of the system. We're going to put the metal shielding back into it just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and spin this around so you guys can see better. There were 4 screws holding the metal shielding, so we're going to put those back in. I'm pretty happy with the way the shell turned out. I went ahead and used the soapy water method. Everything looks super clean. I'll show you the rest of the system so you guys can see what it looks like after I was done cleaning it. We're going to put this aside. We're done with that for now. And we're going to start with the front of the system, and we're going to put the control pad plastic back in, and then the A and B button as well. As you can see on the bottom left there above the speaker area, there is no more battery acid or any kind of residue left. So I went ahead and took care of all of that, and it looks fantastic. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. We're going to put the start and select button membrane and then the control pad membrane in the back as well. Make sure it's nice and flush. Otherwise, you'll run into issues later on. If it's not completely flush, sometimes the buttons won't work. You have to disassemble it and then put it back together, make sure everything's flush. So I'm telling you ahead of time, just so, you know, fair warning. But here is what the board looks like. As you can see, there's a brown spot where the acid was eating into the board. So hopefully I can get some power and some audio from this, but everything is pristine and looks great. I did my best, but there is definitely damage to this board where all the battery acid was held. So we're going to put the board back into place, and make sure to do not forget to put the ribbon back into that little white slot there. More importantly, don't forget to press down on the black notches on the side so that way it's nice and locked in. So now that the main board is back into place, make sure you place the speaker under the board like this, and everything should be pretty good. I like the way this system looks. It's so clean. Remember, there was 3 Phillips screws that we took out. Make sure you put those back in to hold the system back together. And one of the things I've forgotten before is do not forget to put the power switch back into the system before you put the back shell. So now that we have that, we can put the back shell back on. To hold the system together, remember that Nintendo likes to use those special screws, the ones with the tri-tip. So make sure you use that to put it all back together, all 6 screws. And once you put them all in, we can finally put the battery door back into place. And the system is complete. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, other than the stickers of course, but we managed to remove all the battery acid, all the residue. It looks fantastic, so good Game Boy. But I know there are things you guys are waiting on, and I'm waiting on as well. I want to make sure this system works and turns on and gives me video, gives me audio, and it's able to read cartridges without a problem. So let's go ahead and put those batteries that we used earlier. These are the same Energizer ones that I used to test out the system in the first place. So I'm going to put them back into place. Make sure I attach the door, flip it over, and I'm going to test Pokemon Silver for this. So let's go ahead and slide the cartridge back in and then flip the power switch. Okay, it looks like we got video and it looks like it reads the cartridge, but unfortunately there is no sound coming out of the speaker. But other than that, it works great. So we'll take another look. Earlier I told you guys that I felt the battery acid was going to cause some issues with this capacitor because I felt like it ate the solder from it, causing it a connection issue. But I tried the speaker first. I resoldered the orange wires back into it. I actually connected a pair of headphones and I still was not getting sound. So then I finally went for the capacitor and added some fresh solder to both sides to make the connection happen. Let's see what happens. Guys, my childhood Game Boy Color is working again. I am so excited. Right off the bat, one of the things I noticed, and it's completely unrelated, is how small this feels in my hands. Like I was a child when I was playing this, and now my hands are just feel enormous compared to this handheld, but it still feels good holding it. I am super excited that it's finally working. We went through all the work, and hopefully it gives you guys out there some hope that even if your handheld does have some battery acid or has been eroded slightly, there is a way to save it. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. But I'm just gonna go out there and put a ton of hours into this because I'm super excited to play it some more. It's one of my favorite handhelds of all time. So if this is your kind of thing where somebody goes through and cleans up systems, repairs them if need be, and sometimes mods them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time I post a video. We will continue a series on the Game Boy Color. For the next episode, I will be doing a couple upgrades to it, and there's also a couple accessories that I want to purchase for it as well, so stay tuned for some more. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you can't tell, I'm just excited and so elated that I was able to make it work. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.